last video, we discussed different mistakes and doubts that can crop up during our recitation of Birkat Hamazon. In this video, we're going to speak about what types of interruptions are permitted and prohibited during Birkat Hamazon, and what our general decorum and behavior should be when we say Birkat Hamazon. So let's get into it. So regarding interruptions, there are basically two models that we can draw from to determine what the halacha is by Birkat Hamazon. So we have Kriyat Shema on the one hand, and we have Tefillah on the other hand. So, what is the rule by Kriyat Shema? So, in between the paragraphs of Kriyat Shema, one is allowed to respond to somebody who is deserving of their honor, and they're able to initiate a hello to one of their friends. And they can certainly answer to Kaddish or Kedusha. But the rules by Tefillah are stricter. You're not even allowed to respond to a king when you're in the middle of Shmona Esrei, because you're standing before the King of Kings. So we have these two models. So pause the video for a second and ask yourself which model seems more correct. Correct! Okay, sorry, this isn't Dora the Explorer. But we have these two models. What do we do? So the Shulchan Aruch says that the Shulchan Aruch quotes an opinion who holds that we base the rules of interruptions by Birkat Hamazon on Shmona Esrei, which would make the rules of interruptions of Birkat Hamazon way stricter. But there are those who disagree. So what's the bottom line? So, regarding Kaddish and Kedusha, you are allowed to answer to Kaddish and Kedusha if you're in the middle of Birkat Hamazon. However, you are not allowed to speak with another person when you're in the middle of Birkat Hamazon. As just like by Tefillah, you're standing before God, during Birkat Hamazon, you're sitting before God. So you shouldn't be interrupting this conversation with God to speak with someone else. However, in cases of great need, you could speak with someone after the third bracha, but preferably it should still wait until the end of the fourth bracha. So we've spoken about interruptions of speech. But what about when I'm not speaking? Am I allowed to do other things during Birkat Hamazon that don't involve speech? And I'm looking through papers and otherwise. So the Shulchan Aruch says that one is not allowed to do any sort of activity besides for Birkat Hamazon when you are engaged in saying Birkat Hamazon. And the Mishnah Berurah adds that this even includes words of Torah. Now, this can be very difficult. Sometimes when my family sings Birkat Hamazon, I find myself spacing out or flipping through papers and otherwise. But the idea is, again, just as during Tefillah we stand before God, during Birkat Hamazon we sit before God. And as we know, when somebody gives you thanks, we know if they're focused on the thanks that they're giving us, or if they're just going through the motions. So we at least owe the courtesy to God that we're not just going to go through the motions and not focus on our thanks. So I want to take this time now to summarize the 4 videos that we've had so far. So in our first video, we spoke about the purpose of Birkat Hamazon. The idea of Birkat Hamazon is to bring God into our experience of eating, in order so that we shouldn't forget God during the times that we feel our fullest, literally and figuratively. In our second video, we explored the structure of Birkat Hamazon and the different messages that we're supposed to focus on, especially and on different levels. Right? So we speak about Eretz Yisrael, we speak about thanking God generally for food, we thank God for Yetziat Mitzrayim, we thank God for Torah, and on the levels of the personal, of the national, and on the universal levels. In our third video, we spoke about 3 different halachic questions that come up regarding mistakes and doubts. We spoke about, what if I forget to wash before I eat bread? Do I still need to say Birkat Hamazon? The answer is yes. What if I don't remember whether I said Birkat Hamazon? Do I need to repeat Birkat Hamazon? The answer is also yes. What if I forgot to say Ritzei or Ya'aleh V'yevo? Do I need to go back to repeat it? So the answer is that only on Shabbat and Yom Tov, during the first 2 meals, do I have to go back and repeat Birkat Hamazon if I forgot Ritzei or Ya'aleh V'yevo. And in this video, we spoke about 2 issues. The interruptions during Birkat Hamazon and the decorum that we should have. So regarding interruptions, you're allowed to answer to Kaddish and Kedusha, but you're not allowed to have conversations with people during Birkat Hamazon. But in case of great need, you could after the third bracha, but preferably after the fourth. And regarding our decorum, we should purely be focusing on Birkat Hamazon and not looking at different things that are on the table that are interesting to us. We should focus on giving thanks for giving thanks. And I hope you enjoy this video, and I hope you join us again soon.